Hello, welcome guests to the 2026 Leadership ITE class presentations. I'm Ana Maria Torres, the current Leadership ITE Steering Committee Chair, and then I also have on with us Beth Ostrowski and Erica Bailey, who are serving as the first chair and first vice chair and second vice chair, respectively. We are very excited for you all to hear these presentations that the groups have been working on this year. You're more than welcome to have your cameras on through the presentations, as well as when the Q&A comes up. We're going to have the presentation first for each group, and then immediately following their presentation, we'll slide right into their Q&A. If you're not necessarily ready to come off mute, you're more than welcome to jump into the chat and add questions there that you might have for the team as they pop up for you. We'll also be monitoring the waiting room, so if you accidentally get kicked out, we'll get you right back in. No worries. Recording will be available later on when we get that uploaded, and all the team will have their deliverables uploaded to the website as well later next week. So with that, we'll go ahead and keep it moving with Team 1. Team 1 is going to be Rams coming on, and they are up first. Team 2, you're on deck. So awesome. Mike, if you want to go ahead and share your screen.
Just a second.
No pressure being first or anything.
No. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. We're almost there. Can almost see it on my hand. There it is. All right. Hand it over to you.
All right.
Oh.
Imagine you get one shot, one moment, a lot of opportunity, and it all comes down to knowing where to start. And here's the thing, in ITE, there isn't just one straight path forward. This is what inspired ITE. If you know the inspiration for those words, like me, you probably got your musical taste in the early 2000s. However, in all seriousness, the sentiment from Eminem that you have one chance, in his case, to win a rap battle, but in ours to catch the attention of potentially truly amazing members is real. Think about it. How many emails do you get in a day? How many Teams messages? Texts? Notifications? Social media posts? We have never had more information and less time to give it. We're busier than ever, attention spans are shorter, more is coming at us than ever before, and meaningful information has to fight to the surface. Attention is our biggest commodity, and when people get overwhelmed, they freeze instead of taking action. Our goal is to provide a resource for ITE to get over that hump and to help get more engaged membership. Meet the Rams, presenting our project ITE 360, brought to you by Rakib Islam from the North Carolina section, Ariel Greenlaw from the Northern New England section, Mike Salaka from the Greater Tampa section, and Sarah Adsit from the Mid-Atlantic section. Here's a brief walkthrough of what we'll discuss today. We'll start with background research, introduce our ITE 360 tool, discuss our ask to you, ITE, briefly mention our next steps, and finally we'll provide a Q&A period. Starting with the background research, to better understand the member experience, our team used 4 main resources: the ITE website and resource review, ITE staff and volunteer mentor insights, additional ITE resources like member survey results and membership journey materials, and finally, we conducted structured ITE member reviews. I'd like to take a moment to focus on those interviews because they gave us some of our best insight. In addition to general conversation with our peers, we conducted 9 structured interviews across different leadership levels, career stages, and areas of involvement. They included members with backgrounds in academia, public agencies, and our technical and organizational leadership roles. Our goal was to understand paths, barriers, and motivations, and some patterns emerged very quickly. What we heard was most people start locally. Their first experience is often a section, district, or student chapter meeting. Somebody invited them. Nearly everyone we talked to pointed to a person, not a flyer or website, as the reason they got involved. Many students become professionals, engaged, and I highlight engaged, students who stay in transportation naturally convert to long-term members. Time commitment is misunderstood. From the outside, involvement looks time-consuming, even when it doesn't have to be. Life creates off-ramps. Things like career leadership roles, family and personal obligations cause people to step back, and it can be hard to re-enter. And finally, people stay for the people. People don't stay for just the PDHs. They stay because it's enjoyable, fulfilling, and social. And we know that without clarity, IT's abundance of content, although great, can feel overwhelming. Our tool is designed to get people to peers that will help them engage and stay, because once those connections are made, they often span someone's full career. This background information, our meetings with ITE staff and the RAMS membership group, and member interviews directly shaped ITE 360, a tool designed to be the driver that pulls them in to being engaged in ITE.
ITE 360 is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Rather, it recognizes that every member has their own unique areas of interest and different amounts of time and effort that they can dedicate to being involved with ITE. To get started with the tool, the user has to consider two key questions. First, what interests them? And second, how much time do they have? The tool has been set up with 4 answers to the question of what interests them, representing broad areas of interest across ITE. The learning and sharing area is for members who are interested in improving their technical proficiency and sharing their work with others. The technical area is for members who are interested in building technical content through ITE's councils and committees. The local area is for members who are interested in in-person knowledge sharing and networking at a more local level through chapter, section, or district events and activities. Lastly, the member network area is for members who are interested in supporting fellow members and inspiring the next generation. Once a member has decided what interests them, they can start to consider how much time they have to dedicate to their ITE involvement. The tool has 3 possible answers to this question. A member with only an hour a month can find activities that match that time commitment under the Explore category. A member with closer to an hour a week would find options in the Engage category, and a member who wants to become more involved still would be ready to elevate. Once a member knows what they are interested in and how much time they have to dedicate, the tool then guides them to answers for 2 more key questions, namely what their involvement actually looks like and how they could get started with it. Let's walk through a quick example. So let's say I'm interested in the technical area and I want to help produce technical content for the councils and committees. So I look for the technical part of the tool to see what's there. I have about an hour a week that I want to spend on my ITE involvement, so I'm at the engage level. With that amount of time, I can try to contribute to a council or a committee product like a quick bite or a technical brief. And in order to be able to make that contribution, I need to go to a council meeting or reach out to the current council or committee leadership and tell them that I want to help them work on their ongoing projects. This is just one of those 4 interest areas that the tool includes. A tool is only useful, however, if people know that it exists and have access to it. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how it might be distributed to members. Well, we preface this with the fact that we aren't graphic designers. One form to get this information out could be a one-pager like this one. This is very much a draft, and we expect your thoughts and comments, but at a high level, it matches the involvement to the interest and the time constraints, what fits those criteria, and how to get started. One thing that was very important to us in developing this draft and the entire tool was to keep it at a high level at that first glance. Once a member gets over that initial hurdle of knowing how to become involved and actually doing so, there's no doubt that the power of belonging within ITE will take over from there. As we already said, people stay for the people. Taking our previous example, we'll match our technical interest area to our 1 hour a week of availability, learn what we can do in that time, and how we can get started. Another way for the tool to be effective is to make it an interactive feature on the ITE website. It would fit pretty naturally in the Get Involved tab that's already there. In fact, the one-pager could and does link to that tab. And the tool could be based here in the Get Involved area and be made interactive. That interactivity would allow us to provide even more information and links to other areas of the website while keeping the tool itself visually simple and very easy to use. Another option could be in a PowerPoint available to the district section chapters or DSCs with slides like the one that we looked at in our example. That slide deck could be housed in the Resource Center and perhaps be the start of a materials database.
So what's our ask? Our ask to you is that we want ITE to use this tool to reduce the burden of overwhelm, to get not just more, but more engaged members without inundating the users with more information. While we know this will take time and resources, we believe that it'll pay dividends. Engaged members are members for life. In addition to celebrating because our presentation is complete, our next steps include 2 parts. The first is revisions, any updates to materials we get from today's discussion. And the second is finalization of our 2 deliverables, an 11 by 17 one-page sample PDF, and a summary report of our interviews and the ITE 360 tool development, and of course, a copy of our PowerPoint. So taking us back to the beginning, in its 96 years, ITE has never had more information to offer its members, and our members have never had less attention to give. We want you to use this clean, simple tool to reduce the barrier for engagement so we don't miss out on opportunities to work with great members simply because they haven't been asked. This is our opportunity, our moment, our shot to capture and engage our members before they slip. Before we open it up for questions, we just want to say thank you to all the people who made our project and the last 6 months possible, including, and I apologize if I butcher anybody's name, but our program facilitator, Shelley Rowe, the Leadership ITE member program committee, including Anna Maria Torres, Beth Ostrowski, Erica Bailey, Sarah Patterson, and Carrie Falkenrath, the ITE staff, including Kathy Driggs, Eunice Loya, Stephen Bird, Steve Kusiemba, and Gordon Meth, our RAMS membership group made up of Bridget Windling, Pamela Goodell, Jill Duke, Kate Russo, and Colleen Egan, and finally, our interview participants, Dr. Joe Hummer, Neelam Dorman, Farouk Jazz, Tyler Hartman, Dr. Priyanka Lurie, Joe Gregory, John Davis, Tyler Crage, and Srini Sankari. And now we'd like to open it up for questions.
Awesome. Great job, Rams. All right, we got some questions already popping in here. Yes, we love an active chat. All right, so question from Steve. What if someone has multiple interest areas? How will the tool manage that? Or is it just more of a triage tool for casual member engagement?
I don't think there's any limit in the areas where people can go. So, right, if you want to be in the technical track and you go down that hole, then there's nothing that stops you from going down into like the member participation area either. So you're able to participate in anything you want. It's just how you explore and navigate through the tool.
Cool. And comment from Karen. Wow, love this idea. You've taken things that we've mentioned for years and put them in a formalized process. As part of the IT member engagement committee, I'm very interested to dig into this more. That's on my personal note too. So good comment. From Neelam, could this be something we provide new members when they join, or do you think that's too much info for the initial outreach for a brand new member?
Yeah, that's one of the things in our report. It goes into a little bit more detail, but we see this expanding beyond these small deliverables. And we kind of talk a little bit about how we see that it could be used in the future as it grows. And we kind of see it as a living tool. So, as things change, as IT expands, as they change their background, what they want to do, using it in that way.
Okay, cool. And then Becky asks, do you have a plan for publicizing this tool? Maybe that was part of that deliverable that y'all are going to have too.
It was. How it gets publicized is in part dependent on what IT staff is interested in
Mhm.
doing with it after this. But we went through a couple different ways, maybe as a one pager, maybe as a PowerPoint, maybe online, maybe all three, maybe more.
More, more starting point, starting point. A few other comments. Lindsay says, I'm also very interested in this tool. I think it will help members right size their volunteer experience. Carrie says, as a living tool, how do you foresee it being updated and maintained? Who's going to own it, quote unquote?
Yeah, we talked about that. We thought the membership committee might be that first place where it could live and be housed and go to the new members and then kind of grow. They're the people who are involved in most of the different aspects.
Okay. All right. Oh man, these questions popping up faster than I can scroll. Okay. Then from Farouk, is this going to be applicable to global members, people who might not be able to join in-person activities?
One of the things we talked about that's in our report is starting small and starting with like student chapters or starting with districts or something like that and expanding. So not throwing everybody into it initially, but letting it kind of grow and learning lessons from each of those different phases as it expands.
To add to that, I will note three of the four interest areas are pursuable completely online independently. It's really only that local interest area that requires you to, well, not require, but is emphasized on in-person activity.
Nice. Some great comments in here from Kate. Such a good tool for mid-level volunteers. I know we're running on time, so I'm going to grab Pete's question. Did the team discuss whether there is a negative bias to opting into big contributions? So being maybe a little bit more engaged. Is there any negative bias in that?
Yeah, let me just add, I think, if you had told me how much work it was to host a district meeting before I did it, I would say no. But once you get into it, you're like, wow, this is amazing. We could do this. We could do this. And then it's like, oh, wow, looking back, we created an experience that was, fantastic. But I might not have opted in if I'd really known how much time I was going to contribute. So, kind of a devil's advocate to this, I guess.
That's a really good point. I often get involved in things and partway through I'm like, oof, mistake, or just more effort than anticipated.
Or as someone who's done a district meeting, yes, feel you on that, Pete. Um, is there a way to directly push users to touch base with the relevant council chairs or DSC contact to remove any friction in how you meet people? Do we think?
I think a lot of that is going to be best distributed through an online interactive area where say, you click on that technical area, you say, give me a list of all the council's committees. I want to learn more about the Traffic Engineering Council, and then kind of really make that connected. If you're asking if we are like kind of thought about doing like a contact us form that says like somebody said they're interested in this and then auto-generating an email. No, but I think that would be a great idea if IT's staff or whoever takes this project on later
Mhm.
wants to take it on because that can be, you know, it's an easy thing to say, go find out who the council committee leaders are, but it can actually be a little harder to find that contact information, and that's definitely a next step that could elevate this.
That's time.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. There are also still some questions. So if anyone wants to go reply to anybody in the chat, feel free to go do that. But thank you, Team Rams. We'll go ahead and get set up for, yeah, we're that team. Team two. I hope I'm saying that right, you guys. You'll tell us in a second. And Caitlin, I think you're gonna be our presenter for that. No wrong answers. No wrong answers. All right. Got a couple more coming in. Awesome. We can see your screen, Caitlin. I'll let your team get highlighted in just another second. Sorry, I muted myself. Go ahead, Caitlin. Hand it over to you guys.
Oh, Chris isn't spotlighted, so I don't know if that was, I think he's joined us.
Yeah, probably working on that.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get started if that's okay.
There it is.
Good afternoon. We're that team from LeadershipITE 2026, and today we're sharing a project that grew out of a simple but important question. How do we help transportation professionals consistently apply a beyond duty of care mindset to the work products we create and publish? As transportation professionals, our decisions influence how people move, how communities develop, and ultimately how safe people are. We wanted to create something practical that helps bridge the gap between the philosophy of beyond duty of care and the day-to-day products we produce as a profession. Today, we'll start by discussing the challenge we are trying to solve. We'll then introduce the beyond duty of care mindset, walk through the tool we developed, explain how it works, demonstrate how it can be applied, and close with some ideas for how this tool can be integrated into ITE's existing processes. Our goal isn't to create another layer of bureaucracy. It's to provide a practical framework that helps us think differently about the work we produce. For decades, transportation practice has focused heavily on vehicle capacity, level of service, speed, and efficiency. Those approaches have produced tremendous technical knowledge and have become deeply embedded in our profession, but they have also contributed to outcomes that many of us are now actively trying to address. We see it in dangerous roadway designs, highways cutting through communities, loss of human scale environments, and transportation systems that don't always work well for everyone. The challenge we identified is that many technical products are technically sound, but they don't always explicitly reflect a beyond duty of care mindset. As a profession, how do we move from simply moving vehicles efficiently to creating transportation systems that prioritize people, safety, and community well-being? Beyond duty of care starts with a simple premise. Saving lives and creating healthy communities comes first. It's about moving beyond minimum standards and asking whether our work actively supports public safety, public health, and the needs of all users. As a team, we found that this mindset resonates across disciplines because it reinforces why many of us entered this profession in the first place. Whether you're an engineer, planner, researcher, or public agency professional, our work directly affects people's daily lives. The question becomes, how do we make sure that mindset is reflected not just in our discussions, but in the technical products we create? I think many transportation professionals can relate to this slide. At times, we felt frustration, exhaustion, or even tension when balancing technical requirements, stakeholder expectations, safety concerns, and competing priorities. Sometimes we know what the right outcome should be, but existing processes or established practices make it difficult to get there. Those experiences helped motivate our team. We wanted to create something that supports professionals who are trying to bring safety and people-centered thinking into their work, even when it's not the easiest path. To address this challenge, we developed a two-part tool. First, a checklist that can be used during development of a technical product. Second, an assessment matrix that can be used to review a completed or near completed product. Together, they help identify strengths, highlight opportunities for improvement, and encourage consideration of the beyond duty of care principles throughout the development process. Importantly, this is not intended to replace peer review or editorial review. Instead, it's a professional responsibility lens that complements existing review processes. The first component is the checklist. This tool is intended to be used early in the development process when teams are planning content and determining key messages. The checklist asks a series of questions designed to help authors think through whether their work reflects the beyond duty of care mindset. The level of effort is intentionally flexible. For a short technical brief, it may take only a few minutes. For a major guidance document, it may support more detailed discussion among reviewers and authors. The goal is not perfection. The goal is thoughtful consideration. One of the most important questions embedded throughout the checklist is, who are we thinking about? Are we considering only drivers, or are we also considering pedestrians, bicyclists, transit riders, older adults, children, people with disabilities, and historically underserved communities? The checklist helps ensure that transportation professionals consciously broaden the lens through which they evaluate their work. That shift in perspective is often where meaningful change happens. The second component is the assessment matrix. The matrix evaluates products across 6 key topic areas: public safety and risk consideration, technical soundness and evidence basis, clarity of intended use and limitations, consideration of all users, ethical responsibility and professional integrity, and safety trade-offs. Reviewers assign a rating and provide comments, but the intent is not to generate a score. The value comes from the discussion, reflection, and opportunities for improvement that emerge during the review process. To test this, we used AI to conduct an example evaluation of 6 existing ITE products. The results were interesting. We will go through one example as a demonstration. For this purpose, we will review the trip generation product. The product is a quick bite, which is a shorter briefing on a particular topic. When using the matrix as an assessment tool, the product performed well in areas such as technical soundness, intended use, and professional integrity. However, opportunities emerged in areas such as consideration of all users and broader safety implications, like public safety and risk, as well as the trade-offs. Overall, the quick bite generally meets expectations, but there are areas where the document could improve applying the beyond duty of care mindset. For example, additional discussion of multimodal trip generation, equity considerations associated with data availability and land use representation, and identifying safety outcomes could strengthen the product's alignment with the beyond duty of care principles. The important takeaway is not whether the product passed or failed. It's that the framework helps identify meaningful opportunities for enhancement. This tool provides several important benefits. First, it creates a consistent framework for reviewers and authors. Second, it helps strengthen technical products before publication. Third, it encourages constructive feedback without creating a burdensome process. Most importantly, it provides a practical and repeatable way to embed beyond duty of care principles into the work products that shape transportation practice. This is about improving how we think about our work, not simply checking another box. Our ask is straightforward. We encourage ITE leadership to integrate the beyond duty of care checklist and assessment matrix into the development of technical work products. We're not seeking approval of a final product today. We're seeking endorsement of a process and a mindset. The tool provides a practical mechanism for operationalizing the principles that many of us already believe in. Implementation could occur in phases. First, continue refining the tool with the Beyond Duty of Care Working Group. Next, establish Beyond Duty of Care liaisons who can help support councils and committees. Then integrate the checklist and matrix into statement guidance documents and technical product development processes. A webinar could introduce the approach and provide examples of how to use it effectively. Over time, the goal is for Beyond Duty of Care considerations to become a routine part of how technical products are developed and reviewed through ITE. I'd like to leave you with this quote. A good tool improves the way you work. A great tool improves the way you think. Ultimately, that's what this project is about. The checklist and matrix are not the destination. They're simply tools to help us think differently about our responsibilities as transportation professionals. By embedding a beyond duty of care mindset into our technical products, we strengthen public trust, reinforce our commitment to safety, and better align our work with the communities we serve. We hope you'll support continued refinement and integration of this tool across ITE. Thank you for your time and attention and your commitment to advancing our profession. We're grateful for the opportunity to participate in Leadership ITE 2026, and we'd be happy to answer any questions from the audience.
Awesome. Great job, everybody. Yeah, first one's from Steve. Was this done in concert with the Beyond Duty of Care Working Group?
Yes.
I was like, I think I know the answer.
Thanks, John.
So
All
yeah,
or
tell us
part of
more.
the team have been meeting with the Beyond Duty of Care working group, which I happen to also be a member of.
Awesome. Great to know. And it falls in with the safety planning map and everything that IT has as well, right? That's right.
And I will say that
safety roadmap and
Thank
action
you.
plan. Come on, Anna Maria. Come
Thank
on.
you.
I'll just
I knew
add to
someone would
that.
get me.
John provided some insight on some of the process that the working group was going to do and how to integrate things, which is sort of, we mirrored how that works off of kind of the path they're going in.
All right. From Neelam, who do you think would be the best person or persons to go through the checklist while developing the product? Would it be someone integrated with the product or someone outside of it with a different lens?
I can take this one. The first in the product development, that element, that would be done by, or would be envisioned to be done by, someone who is part of a task group developing a product. The assessment at the end could be done either by that task group, or it could be done by someone external that is maybe less familiar.
Osama adds, love this tool. Great job. Any chance of battle testing this tool across work products from various councils and committees?
I'm not sure what you mean by battle tested, but we did, as part of our review and testing, used an AI tool to test various products, whether they be a quick bite or an informational report or even a white paper. So we've done a little bit of that. It definitely needs a little bit more refinement and attention.
But yeah, essentially, it's definitely made to be used for different products coming from different councils. It's not made for only like one council or one committee.
And Alex, I see you have your hand up. Do you want to come off mute? Not hearing Alex at the moment. So I'll go ahead and keep moving down. Pete says, I'm really excited about this work product.
I'm sorry, can you hear me okay?
Oh, there you are. Yes.
I'm so sorry, struggling with my technology here. Just I'm on vacation and didn't want people too envious. Just wanted to say thank you to the group for all your work on this and for tackling this really important topic, and for engaging with the Duty of Care Working Group along the way. And I was just curious a little bit about so you shared the version that is an assessment of the products that are being developed. I'm curious if you could say a little more about the version that would be assessing products that have already been published.
So the demonstration that I went through in the presentation is about the assessment matrix for finished products.
Got it. Thanks. And so would something similar happen for the ones that are under development, or how do the two processes differ?
So the checklist is created to help inform the author and maybe help identify areas of consideration as they start to approach the topic. So what their topic is, and then they can ask themselves some of the questions that have been outlined to help expand and make their product more robust and more aligned with the Beyond Duty of Care mindset.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I love the idea. This changes the way people think. That's the whole goal.
Lindsay asks, would the same checklist be used for existing ones to help identify any existing products that are in need of updating, or just the new products? I think y'all kind of hit on that. Anything else you want to add, though?
No, I think it's, other than it very well could be used for existing products. The ones that we tested are currently in that category.
Okay. Gotcha. And then Neelam adds, thoughts for future use of this outside of IT councils and committees, a tool for members to possibly use for their work projects. Oh, you're on mute.
And then it'll be time.
Okay. All I said was, yeah, I don't see why people couldn't use this to help them think about different considerations, different lenses while they're doing their work in and serving their communities.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're that team. You're going to always get like a head nod from me on that one. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and get ourselves up for team 3, teamwork. Awesome. And William, you're welcome to share your screen when you're ready. Oh, you're already on it. Yes. All right. And we can see your screen. If you want to go into presentation, it should be good.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are Teamwork, and we are excited to share Level ITE, a framework designed to help students stay connected and engaged with ITE as they transition into their professional career. This project really started during our first Leadership ITE session in Washington, D.C., when we heard about the ITE Safety Roadmap and Action Plan. One goal stood out for us. That was engaging the next generation of transportation professionals. As we talked about that goal, we kept coming back to a simple question. How can ITE better support students after graduation and help them stay involved? Well, over the past several months, we have researched, surveyed, and developed a solution we believe can reinforce that connection and support long-term member engagement. And today we are so excited to take you on the journey that led us here. Let's get started. This slide puts a face on the problem. Meet Marcus, a composite drone from students we surveyed during our research. He was a chapter officer, deeply involved, the kind of member ITE works so hard to develop. But then graduation came, and there was no clear next step. No one reached out. He wasn't sure how to renew or which section to connect with as a young professional. A few months later, his membership quietly lapsed. Not because he lost interest, but because nothing was in place to help him through that transition. And here's what makes that even harder to hear. We heard a version of Marcus's story more than just once. In our survey, 48% of chapter leaders said they do not know how to stay a member after graduation. That's nearly half of your most engaged students. And that's the gap we're set out to solve. Before we get into Level ITE, here's a quick look at what we will walk through today. We will show you the gap, why students like Marcus keeps disappearing. Then the evidence, what 25 of your own student officers told us straight up. Then the solution, a 2-track framework built for the full post-graduation lifecycle. Then the program, how it actually works. And finally, the ask. 3 things. That's it. Let's get into it. Here's the life cycle as it exists today. On your left, you can see at the top, there is a red light. Those are your students who are thriving. They participate in chapter events, traffic ball. There is a sense of peer community. ITE is everything for them. At the bottom, you see a green light. Young professionals committee, section events, career growth. That's where we want them to land. But look at this yellow light in the middle. There's no ramp, no structure handoff. Members don't lapse because they gave up on transportation. They lapse because nobody automated that bridge. And here's what our data showed. 88% of students want structure support during this transition. So clearly the demand is there. The infrastructure, it's not yet. Level ITE fills this gap. So let us show you what the data looks like. This past month in May, we surveyed 25 student chapter officers across 20 universities. That included chapter presidents, vice presidents, the people who are the most invested in ITE on their campuses. We wanted to understand how they got connected to ITE in the first place, what they feared about the transition from students to young professionals, and what would actually keep them engaged. A few findings really stood out. 56% of members first connected with ITE through a chapter event. So chapters are clearly the strongest entry point into this organization. But 48% of those same leaders did not know how to stay a member after graduation. And 84% said they will be more engaged if ITE offered FE and PE study support. And that's something we'll come back to. 96% plan to build their entire career in transportation. These are not disengaged students. They are committed, career-focused, and telling us exactly what they need. We just have to listen. So here's what we built based on that feedback. Level ITE runs on 2 parallel tracks. They're both designed to work together across the post-graduation lifecycle. We have track A, that is about the transition itself. It catches members at graduation and walks them into a professional membership with real structure. Then we have track B. Track B is about professional growth. It focuses on FE and PE licensure. The milestone our survey flagged over and over as something members want help with, and something ITE is uniquely positioned to support. That's it, 2 tracks, 1 connected life cycle, no member left behind at graduation. So let me tell you a little bit more about track A. Track A moves through 3 phases. We have phase 1, which is before graduation. That includes a 60-minute briefing, an engagement planning form, and a section identification. So we are already set up before they walk across that graduation stage. Then we have phase 2. Phase 2 happened at graduation, and this includes an automatic professional in training enrollment and an ambassador that is assigned within those 30 days of graduation. We also take into account that geographic continuity, and that is built in for members who relocate maybe to a different district. Then we have phase 3 of track A. Phase 3 includes years 1 and 2 after graduation. This includes a committee placement, a cohort roundtable, and flexible engagement tiers so members can stay connected at whatever level fits their life. The key idea here with track A is that none of this depends on the students figuring it out themselves. The system moves with them. And the most important part of that journey is what happened right after graduation. This is what we call the 90-day danger window. That is the period before the first meaningful professional interaction with ITE. And it's where we lose many members and where level ITE is more intentional. This timeline shows how we bridge that gap. We include an ambassador and onboarding package within those 30 days, a 6-month check-in, and mentoring and committee placement as members continue to grow professionally. Throughout that journey, members stay connected through a built-in peer networking, and that creates opportunities for roundtable, sharing peer experiences, and very importantly, relationships that continue no matter where their career takes them. With that, I'll hand it over to Alex to walk through track B. Track B is more of the professional growth side of level ITE.
Thanks, Carla. Track A is about keeping members like Marcus connected throughout that transition. Track B is more about giving them a reason to grow inside of ITE. Our survey made something very clear. FE and PE licensure is a major gap early career members like Marcus don't have right now. ITE is not filling that gap. 84% said they'd engage more if ITE offered FE and PE study resources. Only 16% currently hold FE credentials, and nearly half weren't even sure if their universities offered exam prep. Track B addresses this directly through the ITE Learning Hub licensure series at the international level. At the district level, there will be state PE roadmaps, and at the section level, groups of 6 to 10 members form a cohort. The idea is that ITE becomes the organization that supports members through the most important professional milestones of their early career. It's also worth noting that this connects directly with ITE's Safety Roadmap and Action Plan, which identifies engaging the next generation of transportation professionals as a priority goal. Track B is a concrete way to deliver on that commitment for Marcus. Track B has 2 tiers so members can engage at the right level for where they're at in their careers. The FE track is 16 weeks long. It is designed for that entry-level engineer and EIT candidate. It covers breadth, the fundamentals, math, economics, materials, transportation, plus practice exams and test strategies. The PE track is 24 weeks long for engineers with more experience who are ready to specialize. It goes deeper into traffic engineering, geometric design, hydrology, drainage, safety analysis, with a final full-length practice simulation. This track focuses on civil transportation. Marcus can choose the tier that fits his career stage, and ITE is here to support him. One thing we wanted to make sure from the start is that Level ITE isn't just a program that launches and hopes for the best. It's built to be measured. For Track A, we're tracking 4 things: 6-month conversion rate, 12-month commitment placement, 2-year retention, and event participation, all reported by every district every year. For Track B, we track FE and PE pass rates by section, cohort completion, member retention amongst participants, and time to licensure. This ties back to what ITE Safety Roadmap calls for: measurable, data-driven progress on student engagement and professional development. Level ITE gives districts the tools to report that progress consistently. The rollout is designed to be deliberate. Test before scale. Year 1 is a pilot with 2 to 3 volunteer districts. We run the full Track A process, launch early Track B cohorts, and collect baseline data. In year 2, we analyzed what worked. We refined the program structure to address what didn't work, and we expand Track B to more sections. By year 3, every district is running a standardized framework. Full KPI reporting is live. The FE and PE prep is available nationally. Nothing moves to the national scale until it's been verified and validated by real member data from the pilot. Before I hand this off, let me quickly recap Level ITE for you. Level ITE addresses 5 structural things that don't currently exist for Marcus: automatic graduation triggered enrollment, a 30-day onboarding package, a class cohort identity that lasts beyond graduation, integrated FE and PE preparation, and district-level accountability metrics. Each one removes a barrier that currently causes Marcus to quietly drift away. Together, they create a membership lifecycle that actually functions from end to end. And now I'll turn it over to Rakesh to walk you through our ask.
I'm sure you all remember Marcus by this point of time. He was one of your best student leaders, helping keep his chapter active and engaged. At the time of his graduation, he was looking around for transition support for his professional growth, and he could not find it yet. Today, we are asking you to make sure that never happens again. And it only takes 3 things. First, incorporate Level ITE as a formal ITE international initiative. Give it an official home so it can be resourced and championed. Second, authorize a year 1 pilot with 2 to 3 volunteer districts. Let the data speak before any broader commitment is made from ITE. Third, designate a program coordinator at the international level. One person who owns this, tracks it, and keeps it moving. 3 consideration. That's all we ask today. Because the alternative is inaction, meaning a generation of Marcuses drifting away. Young members who lapse, a pipeline that quietly empties. It is imperative that ITE supports young members in their professional growth and builds the trust we all have in this great organization. And we are not shying away from the fact that new professional membership brings in additional dollars for long-term sustainability. Level ITE promotes the future of membership. Incorporate it, pilot it, and help students stay. We are teamwork. We build Level IT framework because we believe the work you do. For a student like Marcus, his engagement and involvement should not lead into a situation of uncertainty stamped on graduation day. This framework does three things: retain every graduating member who earned their place in this community, engage at every career stage, not just the student years, grow the ITE pipeline one cohort at a time. Marcus is out there right now at campuses across the country, about to walk off his graduation stage. He needs ITE to be ready for him when he does. And this IBOR, ITE's executive committee and directors can make that happen. Thank you. We are happy to take your questions.
All right, great job. And those questions are popping in. Karen says, this is great. Can you clarify, does a student choose one track or another regarding the FEPE courses, and who do you envision teaching those courses? And will there be a charge to the student members to help cover those courses?
I'll field that one. What track it is really up to the student, depending on where they're at in their career. An undergrad student is going to focus more on the FE, where if you've got a master's degree or a doctoral student who may have some professional experience, they're going to lean more towards the PE track. That's really on there. And moving forward from there, it really depends on what they do. And what was the second part of that question?
Well, who would be teaching the courses and if there would be a charge?
As far as teaching, it's going to be hosted on a local level, so it's going to be local members that would be teaching it. It's something that we're doing right now in the Michigan section. It's really a loose cohort of people that bring up the materials, and we had not envisioned charging for it. But that's something that, depending on what's needed by the board and the international to make this happen, that's something that decision can be made later on.
Okay. Is there currently a way for ITE to track when student members graduate, or is it self-reported right now?
I can take on that one.
Yeah.
So we've had conversations about this question itself, and as far as we understand, you can tell when a student becomes a young professional, but there's not necessarily a question that's being asked directly. And this is what Level ITE brings into place. We have a question that happens 6 months before graduation that includes, in addition to your level of involvement, it also includes, will you be graduating in the next 6 months? And once that answer is yes, it triggers the entire system so it can move and tracks with them. Something that's currently not happening at the ITE level, but it could.
Gotcha. From Lindsay, who are you envisioning being an ambassador, and how many will be needed per district? Will be based on the number of schools and IT student chapters within the districts and sections?
I can take on that one as well. So this is all based on volunteer, right? Just like Alex was explaining a minute ago, this will be managed at the local level. So an ambassador will be that volunteer who wants to engage with the students and help them transition from student to that professional career. And well, sorry, there was a second part to that question. Based on numbers of school. Oh, sorry.
No, what you're going with, based on the number of student chapters, is there an ideal number y'all are thinking?
Yeah, I don't think we've made that consideration strictly in the group, but it would definitely be based on the need that we see at the moment.
Okay, awesome. For track B, did you explore what competition we would have for FE or PE training courses and what would differentiate ITE?
We did consider that. That was kind of where we really kicked that around a lot in our group discussions with like Dr. PE and what ASCE offers. We did consider that. This is a little bit more of a homegrown, focusing only on the transportation end of things. This is where we see this as an advantage for ITE. The other part of it is we had envisioned this being integrated as part of being a member of IT at no charge, where some of the other courses are, $2,500, $3,000 for a young professional, which is pretty costly depending on where they're at and other costs that they have going on.
And with respect to competition, there are some universities who offer this as well. NCSU was one of those, but again, it's only for the students who go to that school.
All right, I think this is going to be our last question for this group. Question on the implementation timeline. Are there specific districts that have expressed interest in volunteering for the pilot program? And do you think it could be focused on one particular university as another way of rolling it out rather than by the districts?
Sorry, Anna Maria,
Yeah, anyone's expressed interest in like being a guinea pig for the district side?
not yet, but
Not yet.
like Alex section was one that already has few things in place, so they could be volunteered in a way, or we could check in for the interest from their section, but
Yeah,
none of them
and
have volunteered yet.
gotcha. And then the flip side of that, another perspective, have y'all considered that it could be focused on rolling it out with a particular university first over others?
We have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I could add to that, I just feel like this system, honestly, it could benefit for your most active type chapters to the least active chapter. So that's something that we should focus on as we select for the pilot study, so we can always plan for worst case scenarios, and then tackle those needs for specific areas as we do a national rollout. But we don't want to go there first. We want to do a pilot. Make sure the program works. Track A, track B works fantastic, and then we go into national rollout with that.
Gotcha. All right, well, I'll hand it back to you, Rakesh.
Thank you. Before we wrap, we just want to leave you with this. We talked a lot today, numbers, tracks, timelines. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one thing, Marcus. He's graduating this spring. He's going to need support with transition from student to professional, and hopefully he will start his career as an IT young professional member. All we need from you today are three things: incorporate level ITE, authorize a year one pilot, and designate a coordinator. That's the bridge we built together. We just need you to open the gate. We would like to thank our mentors, Leadership IT program, for this opportunity. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thanks, teamwork.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and get ourselves set up for Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Right. Getting your members lined up here too. Yeah, and there was a lot of other great questions in the chat too, so y'all feel free to go respond to those directly too. All righty. That is Fantastic Four. You're all good to go.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, we'll get started. So good afternoon, IT International Board of Directors and Council Leadership Team. We are Fantastic Four, and I'm Nikila Gunda, Transportation Planner from Lawrence, Kansas within Moai District.
I'm Annabelle Hernandez, a transportation engineer in Las Vegas, Nevada from the Mountain District.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Tarek Lakti Kamal. I'm the Transportation Engineering Manager with the City of Tampa, and I'm part of the Florida Puerto Rico District.
Hello, I'm Gabriel Dowell, Project Engineer from Dallas, Texas, within the Texas District of ITE.
It's like a traffic project manager from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in the Great Lakes District.
Awesome. Well, we all thank you for this opportunity to learn from the Leadership IT class and present on a topic that we believe is crucial to the transportation industry. So on one amazing but not so amazing Monday morning, Neil calls a meeting with his colleagues and management team. The group you see on the screen is the same team presenting today. Just a quick disclaimer, the names are real as we introduce, but the job titles and scenario have been adapted for this role play as a part of today's presentation. So before we get started, I would like to provide a little background. So Neil here is a senior transportation engineer who has been with the firm for more than 5 years. He is a highly valued team member known for being both an independent contributor and a collaborative colleague. Neil routinely manages 4 to 5 projects simultaneously while maintaining strong relationship with clients and stakeholders, and consistently delivers quality of good quality work on time and within project requirements. And during this meeting, however, Neil shares some unexpected news. He has accepted another opportunity and will be leaving the firm, with his last day scheduled for the following week.
Hi, team. Firstly, thanks for meeting with me today on such short notice, as things have been just super hectic in my life right now, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you individually. Anyways, I wanted to get to meet with you all today to share some exciting news. I have applied and received the position as a new lead engineer at ZDOT. It's an incredible opportunity for me as the next step in my career. Thank you for everything.
Congratulations, Neil.
Congratulations.
A few moments later.
What are we going to do now? Neil has many projects, but his staff is still young and is not prepared to lead them.
Do we know how many projects he's handling right now? Wait, does anyone know who's working on these projects for Neil?
Well, I'm working with Neil on a feasibility study, but we haven't focused on training our staff beyond the technical elements. This is not good for the growth of the firm when staffing changes occur.
It will take a while to post this position, and it could be months before we have a suitable replacement. I wish we had had a succession plan in place.
Hi. What you just witnessed was an organization losing a valuable team member. Have you or a loved one ever found yourself in a similar situation? With a lot of loose ends, it's always hard to put all the pieces back together. When you're feeling uneasy about how or why a decision was made, we always wish there is something or a resource that would help us, transportation professionals, navigate through that uncertainty. And that's where our project comes in. We're here to provide our community a framework for succession planning. Our team has put together an information report and a quick bite on a succession planning framework. You may be wondering, who is this framework for? Well, this framework is for you. This resource was developed to give agencies and practitioners a roadmap to navigate through the unknowns, to work through the frustration and uncertainty and ensure that your team knows what the next steps are when a valuable team member leaves their organization. So you may be wondering, how can ITE help? Our team has identified 3 opportunities for ITE to help. We're asking ITE to adopt this framework as a pilot program, to leverage ITE's employer-based councils to share and spread this framework, and 3, to continue the development and refinement of succession planning tools for our industry. And now we will dive into how the framework was built.
Now I'm going to briefly walk through the 5 phases that we've identified. And in these slides, the first 2 bullet points are what the phase is and why it is so important. Their third bullet point in blue is what ITE's role could possibly be and how you can provide support. So let's get started. Phase 1 is figuring out where an organization is at and what resources are already available. This phase could use ITE's membership and guidance understanding where the gaps are and what the needs are in the next steps of succession planning. Phases 2 and 3 are about understanding roles within your organization, what skills are necessary, and discusses what professional development would help. In these phases, ITE's current trainings, webinars, and certifications will act as important resources. They'll benefit both employers and employees to learn and hone their both technical and soft skills for any role or position they may apply for. Finally, phases 4, and 5 are about keeping the plan successful, active, and ensures it stays on track. In these phases, we are leveraging ITE's existing and new tools and resources to incorporate this framework within our membership.
Now that you have heard an overview of the 5-phase framework, it is clear that succession planning is important to any organization when disruptions in the workforce occur. This provides a great opportunity for ITE to be a leader in the industry and provide this important service to its members, providing a system that strengthens and becomes resilient as changes occur within the workforce while leveraging our existing resources.
Finally, our big ask is to leverage the ITE employer councils to adopt this tool and make it available and, most importantly, known to all the councils and employers who make up ITE. ITE can also take the initiative by using this framework internally in the day-to-day operations and planning of ITE leadership and staff. So let's work through the councils to refine the framework as needed and to find optimal ways to distribute the framework to our members and beyond. Here we are, back at our small company, and in this scenario, we used and implemented the ITE framework that we have discussed today, and we were prepared with a succession plan in place. We have replaced Neil with Neil 2.0, and we have happy employees, leaders, and project managers all back working to achieve a common goal. We also have employees learning new skills and taking on new roles. They are progressing as individuals, and our organization is better off than it was before. In conclusion, succession planning is an important topic that needs further work and development, and it has been our pleasure moving the topic along the pathway to implementation. The Fantastic Four team would like to thank you for your time and listening to our presentation on this important topic, and we can open it up for questions. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Fantastic Four. If anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand or drop them in the chat. My question for you, and maybe I missed it, but is there a specific size company or company or agency that you think this kind of tool will be most beneficial for, or a place to start?
So the framework itself focuses its view through a team view instead of an organization. So
Okay.
it can be tailored to any size organization depending on what team wants to adopt the framework itself.
Gotcha. All right. Here we go. Neelam says, yay for a state DOT stealing Neil. ZDOT, way to go, ZDOT. Succession planning is a big topic in her DOT, which is ODOT, and this is a great value add tool to share with our public agency members. Would you also provide samples or templates beyond the framework? Is that something the deliverable maybe?
So the hope here is that our scope of work is just to put together the framework and provide the quick bite on some of the best practices. But then there would be subsequent projects that can help refine the tools a little bit more and provide very specific tools for different stages of either positions or different teams in different areas. So it can be further developed a lot of different ways. Having more refined tools is part of the next steps, but that's where ITE can leverage some of its resources to help fill that gap.
Nice. Awesome. Is this a tool one of any of you are like ready to implement like today for yourselves?
Yes, I selfishly pitched this because I am trying to work on it currently here in the city of Tampa, just because succession is always hard and change is not easy, but when you are prepared for it, your odds of success are much, much better.
Totally agree. Sarah adds, I think many people will look for tools when they are in this moment and not necessarily before. How do you imagine, oh, I lost my place. How do you imagine balancing the prep versus the triaging in the moment? Good point, Sarah.
Well, that's a very good point. I think with the framework itself, the hope is that if ITE adopts it and we can start sharing it through the different councils that we have, we would be able to bring it up on people's radar so that they can start early enough. Triaging is always hard, but it just depends on how your organization wants to work on succession, whether they want to remain reactive or take this more proactive view on how to prepare for succession.
Gotcha. Becky adds, can the framework also be adapted for districts and sections who may lose an officer mid-term or a long-time committee chair?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had this happen in our district. Someone took a new job somewhere else and they had to go and, be a whole director title somewhere. So, awesome. Any other questions for the Fantastic Four? Alrighty. Well, if you have any, feel free to drop in the chat. We're monitoring there so we can answer things. We'll also be printing the chat at the end and distributing that to our groups so that way they can follow up with any questions anyone might have had that I didn't get around to answering. So, well, thank you so much, Fantastic Four. Appreciate it. And now we'll move to our group 5, Light Up. It makes me want to say squat up, but that's all. Great. Tom, we're seeing your screen.
Very good.
Yep. We can get a couple more people added. Gonna get Tom highlighted here. There we go. All right, over to you guys.
The background went away. All right. Thanks everybody for being here this afternoon. We're Team Light Up Leadership Class 2026, and our project was about building a lifelong foundation of safety. Who here has kids that walk to school, knows kids that walk to school, or has seen kids walk to school? Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. All right, just about everybody. That's great. Walking and biking to school is great. It's something we should and do encourage. It gets kids active and helps them get closer to their community. A lot of us grew up walking to school. Maybe it was uphill both ways in the snow, like in Montana and Canada, or maybe it was through 100 degrees in February, like when I grew up in San Antonio. But we don't live in the same world that we grew up in. And unfortunately, there is a risk. Tragedies occur, and a parent's worst nightmare is sometimes realized. Rarely, but not as rarely as we would hope for, a child doesn't make it home. These are isolated incidents, but they happen everywhere. And we don't want anybody to experience this nightmare, and we need your help to make sure it doesn't happen. Safety is a shared responsibility. Parents, teachers, schools, and us as professionals have a responsibility to start safety young. But as a parent, where do you go to look for resources? And wouldn't it be great if there was one place to go? And shouldn't ITE be that resource? So we're asking IBOT and ITE to be the heroes and accomplish this goal by creating a database of road safety resources and best practices for parents, schools, public agencies, and others that's easy to reference so everyone's working from the same source and not receiving competing or incomplete information. Our focus is on encouraging active and safe school travel, building on existing K-12 STEM initiatives to shape a safety awareness and mindset. We want to develop these good habits starting in elementary school so they become lifelong instincts. Our goal is to introduce a safe system approach early, and our project aligns with the safe system approach. And as the safe system approach emphasizes, responsibility is shared. Our project also aligns with the ITE Transportation Safety Roadmap and Action Plan, from facilitating community implementation of the safe systems approach to establishing an ITE Transportation Safety Pledge, but also identifying and developing K-12 traffic safety educational resources. We've developed the building blocks to make this happen. We're engineers, we love data, and the data shows the need for this initiative. This map shows non-motorist incidents involving 5 through 13-year-olds from the 2023 FAR Safety Database. So you can see this is a widespread issue. This data shows child non-motorist fatalities falling off pretty drastically, which is great. But since 2009, we've kind of leveled out. We're still around 250 a year, which is 252. We worry that this trend shows up in all ages non-motorist fatalities. Also around 2009, we had been decreasing, but then all of a sudden, it started creeping back up, and now we're at a 30-year high. So we want children to grow up with good instincts that translate into being adults, safe adults. So what's changed since 2009? Well, there's definitely increasing distractions. 2009 is when smartphones really took off, and more than 70% of drivers have admitted to using a cell phone while driving in the past 90 days. Vehicles themselves are getting bigger. The average truck and SUV size has increased 11% since 2000. There's a lot of trucks and SUVs on the road, and they're so big that you can't see little AI kids right in front of you like in this picture. And the world has changed for us too. Even though we're already adults, sometimes we don't model the best behaviors. We can be distracted, and we can set bad examples for our kids. So our goal is to help provide the resources to educate the young users of the transportation system and help them develop a lifelong foundation of safety. Now, this isn't a new problem, and it hasn't been ignored. There's a lot of existing resources. The problem is the current resources are fragmented, siloed, and many people simply don't know where to look. Our proposal is to create a single database that can be promoted through IT's existing STEM outreach efforts and partnerships with the local sections to get the right materials in the right hands. IT already has a robust STEM page with activities for everybody from preschoolers to high schoolers. A lot of cities and municipalities have initiatives and resources available online. And even some federal agencies you've never heard of have kid zone resources, like the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which I learned about through this project. The issue is fragmentation. Even during this project, the Light Up team of highly capable traffic engineers had a hard time finding all the resources. So how would a parent, school, PTA, or school board find what they need? And if they do find something, how do we know that it's up to IT's standard of excellence? How are we going to create safer kids? Our ask to the IBOD is to facilitate creating a national point of reference for these materials. Again, leverage IT's existing STEM page and aggregate all the existing materials in one spot. Once those materials are aggregated, it's a lot easier to identify gaps in coverage. Do all the existing materials emphasize safety in the way they should? And do the materials meet IT's standard of excellence? Once those gaps are identified, we can help fill in the gaps. For instance, are we missing a bus safety page for third graders? Or do we need a coloring book for preschoolers? We want to curate those materials by audience. So if you're a parent looking for something, you can go to the Parents tab. If you're a professional like us, you can go to the Professionals tab. Basically, get the right materials in the right hands. And that's what we're proposing is this project. But obviously, there's next steps. Like I said, after those gaps are identified, we want to consider developing additional materials, like flyers that can be handed out with kids to go home from school, lesson plans for teachers to help teach these concepts to kids, coloring books to get preschoolers involved in thinking about this kind of stuff, and even a safety pledge to help anchor those good behaviors in kids' minds. We also, once everything is developed, we want to challenge local sections to reach out as parents, PTA, and professionals to help facilitate that outreach and let people know it's there. Not only are we going to promote safety amongst our young users, we're going to help promote ITE as the resource for safety information. We didn't go all the way and develop full flyers, but these are some concepts. Here's a flyer that can be handed out, emphasizing what we want kids to learn. Here's a safety pledge that you could hang on the wall and get kids thinking about safety early and often. We want to promote safety around cars, like during pickup and drop off. Make sure you make eye contact with the driver. Make sure you're not darting out from behind a stopped car where drivers can't see. And just emphasize those safety aspects, especially during pickup and drop off. We want kids to be safe when they're on wheels. Always wear a helmet, use crosswalks, and ride in bike lanes or on sidewalks and not in the main lanes. We want to promote safe, safe crossing behaviors at signals and beacons. Make sure you look both ways, even if the light's green. The green light is not an automatic that the conflicting traffic is going to stop. Make eye contact with the driver. If you can't see them, they can't see you. And safe behavior around buses. Don't dart out from behind a stopped bus like this kid in the picture. Make sure the stop signs are up. Make sure all the vehicles have stopped before you cross the street. Wait on the sidewalk for the bus to come. So to prevent our worst nightmares and build a lifelong foundation of safety, let's use the power of ITE to create the go-to resource for kids to walk and wheel to school safely. We're responsible for building a safe system. We can't do it without you, but together we can keep our kids safe. Let's get more kids walking and wheeling to school safely. That was our Light Up team project.
Awesome. Thanks, Light Up. As a member of the IT STEM committee, I'm so happy that you actually knew we had resources. It's something we're working on. So
I have used those resources.
yes, love this so much. Awesome. Well, Lindsay says in the chat, this is a great idea, and she has a comic book and cartoon developed for kids and would be happy to share it. Yes, let's get that on the website. Send it over to Kathy or our STEM committee resources, but courtesy of Light Up, we appreciate that. Pete says, thanks for taking on this important effort. I appreciated the link to the safety roadmap. Are there other professional societies or advocacy initiatives that you think might be helpful to partner with? Maybe social media area we need to focus on?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know any off the top of my head.
I think like the walking school bus, and then the bike. I don't know about Bike Bus World, but it sounds similar to that. Any number of those kind of existing programs would be a good area to spread some of this materials.
Yeah, I think also several agencies have safe routes to school programs. But I think that kind of wraps back around to the issue that we're trying to solve here is that there are a lot of different resources out there. And we need some way or somewhere to go to say, let me put my finger just on this one.
And that was kind of the crux of the whole project. We started out like, oh, let's make a bunch of flyers. And then we found a bunch of flyers that are already there. And like Audrey and Lindsay said, there's a lot of initiatives to get kids walking and biking, but maybe they're not necessarily focused on safety all the time. So kind of gather what's out there is the first step.
Gotcha. And Karen added, many of our own members don't know about our resources for kids on our STEM page. How would you suggest getting the word out to the general public?
So that was
Go
ahead, Omar.
Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
All you, buddy.
Yeah, so the idea has been to start with our members and find champions at each sections, and through them reach out to their communities and school boards and any means available to the local section level to promote this effort and educate and inform people about this resource.
Okay. So, and Neelam adds, great topic, and I can see section members getting excited to volunteer with their local schools for Safety Week, etc. activities. I know we do for Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day is a big hot topic one too, as well as STEM Day in November. So we'll be seeing some more stuff come out there. Kate says, as a member of STEM, really appreciate this initiative. In your research, did you reach out to any of the educational professionals to learn the best ways to engage with students?
We didn't get that far in the process.
Yeah, really okay.
That's fair.
I think that, yeah, totally agree. Awesome. Oh, and we even have a Spanish version of the cartoon. Oh my goodness, Lindsay, what just coming up with all these things. Yeah.
Yep, English and Spanish. We have a couple other, we have some geared for adults as well.
Nice. I guess that would be a question too, because I think that is very important. We have a lot of different cultures and languages within the United States alone. So, then expanding into Canada, where we have membership along with our global membership. Are you thinking of, starting most heavy base membership being in the US and starting there as kind of like the place first? Did y'all come across any major bilingual sites or anything? It was all mostly English.
Some of the resources here in Canada are translated in both English and French, depending on different provinces and different geographical areas. But I assume there are some material in the US that are also in Spanish.
Good point. Awesome. Any other questions for the team? All right. Hearing none. Thank you so much. Light Up. Appreciate you guys. And that's actually going to wrap it up for our team presentations. Round of applause for everybody. I know y'all have been working hard on this for the last 6 months. Very proud of everyone. You did it. You did it. This is like the mile marker. You're almost there and done with the program. But at this time, I'll go ahead and invite Steve Kusiemba some words.
Hey, thank you, everyone. And again, always enjoy this part of the year when we get to see these presentations. You know, when you guys get together to do these projects, your focus is not just on the subject and the outcome, but the process of getting there. You've all learned a lot of great team skills working on this. You've learned a lot more about ITE. You've learned a lot more about yourselves as you've done this. And you know, it's always exciting. It's also an exciting moment for you because this is your last big hurdle, or I should say, last big challenge before you really get to graduation, which is just coming in about 5 weeks from now. So can't wait to see you all walk across that stage at our luncheon in Detroit. It's always exciting. I would say just about everyone that's on this call is going to be there cheering you on, clapping for you. I know Gordon and I will be really excited to be at the other end of the stage to receive you, to thank you all, to congratulate you all. Some great presentations today. It was interesting as I was making myself some notes. Two of the teams focused heavily on membership tools, and two of the teams focused on safety related tools. And then the fifth team focused on more of a professional development, the succession planning. Some really interesting stuff that came out of all of them. As you know, we often take little nuggets from each of these presentations that find their way into active activities. As we progress, there's always a lot of great ideas that come from this. So I just want to thank you all again for the time and effort you put into this. And just say again, great job, everyone. Fantastic job. My congratulations to you. Anna Marie?
Yeah, thanks so much, Steve. Appreciate those comments. With that, that's going to wrap up our group presentations for Leadership ITE 2026 class. Again, we look forward to seeing everyone on this call likely in Detroit in just, a month and a few days. So yeah, we will see you there. And if you have any questions for this Leadership ITE group, we'll definitely be sure to circle up in person. But we're also going to be having the deliverables online if you want to get a little more detailed, as well as the recording for those who can make all sessions. So with that, thank you, everybody. We'll see y'all next time.